Hi, I'm Wayne Tuttle, and welcome to Chasing Legends. Welcome back, Chasing Legends, brand new season 2024. So here we go, going into our 5th year running Chasing Legends and probably our 8th or 9th year of the channel on YouTube. So please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, we check out, like, answer our comments. We always like our comments, it doesn't matter what you say, I'm gonna like it. Go to our website, www.legendssuperstitionmountains.com, and check it out there. There's shirts, there's swag, there's hats, there's coffee cups, more stuff coming. That all being said and done, we're getting into the new year. Like I said, this will be our 5th season of Chasing Legends, having not missed a single Monday in 4 years. So every week we've brought some sort of new content to you, including on the Fridays we bring back the live, the archival material. We're going to bring up some interviews so you can hear the audio only. We'll put a picture up for you to stare at if you want to, but trying to find different things, different ways to kind of bring things to the public. Being said and done, we're about to get to our next one, but for all of you out there, we don't have sponsors. We don't really try to make any money off of it, but we do enjoy Coors Light, so they can send us free beer. Anyways, Happy New Year to another long and happy and successful 2024 with Chasing Legends. That is good. Okay, that being said and done, let's move forward. So I wanted to start the year off, and I thought, okay, I got several different stories, and we kind of been doing some stuff. And I thought, here was one I thought I'd done. So I went back through and started looking at everything and going, oh, I don't find it anywhere. And then, of course, I have to go into the memory banks and start searching and searching for the particulars of who, where, when. Now, this has to be 76, 77 as best I can get it. I don't think it could be 78, but I'm doubtful. So I'm thinking 76, 77, and I can't remember the individual's name. I've worked hard the last 2 weeks thinking about this story because I didn't want to do it. I thought, well, at least I can remember his first name. Remember, he was a kid. He was probably about a year younger than me or so, and he had sandy blonde hair, kind of skinny kid, but I can't remember his name. And that kind of drives you crazy when that happens because you're sitting there going through every possible name you can think of, thinking something will trigger. And I can't. A couple times I thought, well, is it? No, it isn't this. So it's an unknown person. Maybe he's out there. He'd remember this. And people would remember this who were with us at that time. But maybe somebody can say, oh, yeah, that kid. Don't know. Anyhow, we're out camped. We're out in Barkley Basin. And we're kind of east of Peralta Trailhead. Head out that way. And I have no idea at that time what the reason for the camp was or what we were doing. I was at that time still baggage a lot of the times. But the cool thing about being baggage on those early trips was everybody would be doing something or whatever was happening outside of like kind of tend and sit around the fire and do a few go do this, go do that. Most of the time you just got to run around and you just do whatever. We weren't really required to have anything to do with anything. We were just out there for the experience, hanging out with whatever, our dads and stuff. So we were out there, and of course nothing to do in camp. My idea was, oh, well, I'm going to go off and take off and head up this canyon. Now, I don't think it was Barks. It could have been Barks Canyon, but I think we went up over kind of the rise between Miner's Needle and the unnamed mountain over there. I don't know if that mountain even has a name. And we kind of went up over that way. Now, I asked, anybody want to go? I'm going to go out and go check some stuff out over here. And nobody seemed to have any interest. Now, we're in the foothills out in that area. So whoever this guy was, I can kind of picture him in my head. He decided to tag along with me. That's fine. We just took a couple canteens with some water, and that was it. I mean, back in those days, we weren't very well prepared when I would take these little day jaunts. So we kind of went out, we took off, we started going up over in this area, and as we got back into the area we're in, we were kind of staying up above the canyon, probably 100, 200 feet up. And we saw something that kind of looked like kind of a step kind of thing. And you kind of look at it and you think, well, it's kind of a natural thing because that happens. There's those tiers that happen up in the mountains. And I remember we were looking at it, and as we were going through, we thought, well, let's head up and check that out, because at the top of it, there was something that looked like a rectangular shape. Kind of soft contours to it, but it was a rectangular shape. And I remember the joke was, well, it's a staircase and it goes up to a door in the mountain. Now, this is before I'd ever heard of any of the Jesuit stuff or the stone maps, anything like that. I had the only thing I would have known relevant to that would have been Tolkien, and it would have been the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit or something. So I think we just saw it as, what is that? Why does that look like a door in the mountain? Let's go check that out. So we went up. I do recall we found like a 3-4 foot kind of area that was worn in the mountain that you could work your way up. And it was interesting because you could tell it felt like it had been manipulated as someone had traveled that way. And we got to the foot of these stairs. Now the stairs themselves, I would say probably went 60, 70, 80 feet up. And they kind of worked their way around. About 1.5 feet high. And they'd be about 3-4 feet deep. So there'd be like, you get up on one, you'd take a step or so two, and then step up on the next one. And as we went up, we were trying to figure out, we're just kids, remember, is this natural? This seems kind of like a little kind of odd. And as we were working up for it and it worked its way up, there was, there'd be a rock or something in the pathway, but they were pretty defined. Like I said, about 1.5 feet high, probably, and it was probably about 3 feet wide. And we were looking at it, and today I would sit back and look at it and say it was natural, more of a natural contour of the erosion through the area. But at the time, it looked like steps. And we were thinking, why is there like a little platform above each step? And the best thing we could come up with, I remember we were talking, is maybe the burros and mules wouldn't go up a normal staircase very well. But if you had these little longer sections, so even back then you'd think about these things. So we wound our way up. It didn't crisscross or go back on itself or zigzag. It just kind of worked its way around the contours of the mountain. And we got up and we hit the spot where the doorway is supposed to be. And the area in front of it was probably 5 or 6 by 5 or 6 feet. It was a nice landing right there. But then it's totally disappointing because we look at the doorway and we realize, and this happened to us in Fish Creek, where the staining and just the way the rock was, it made it look like a doorway. Once you get there, it resembled nothing like that. It was very uneven. It was just like, oh, it almost disappeared. We were like, oh, we can kind of tell what we were looking at. Once you got close up, you couldn't. So we were very, very disappointed and thought, wow, that was a complete waste of time. But to the right of it, now the left was almost sheer mountain. There was no place to go or anything. But to the right, there was like pock marks in the rock, kind of like looked like could have been handholds. And we were looking at them and thinking, well, they're kind of the way they're spaced. Now we're just kids, but we're thinking, okay, you could probably kind of work your way up here. And we looked up and there was another area above it, maybe 15, 20 feet. And we were looking at that and thinking, there could be another landing up there. So our idea was, well, let's go take the handhelds, let's climb up there and take a look. And instead of one of us doing it, we both went. We got up this way. It was pretty tough. And it was kind of one of those things where it's almost sheer vertical and works its way out. It's not a very easy climb, but you're young. Got up there, and it was a spot about 3-4 feet. It kind of just ended, and the mountain went straight up beside us on one side. There was kind of a knob, a protuberance, you could call it like a big boulder shape to the one side going north, looking up the canyon. And we kind of were like looking over it, and it was like a 30, 35 foot drop. There was a kind of a ledge, 3 feet maybe, down below, but it was like, oh, we can't go that way. There's no way to get down. There's no way to really get around this. So we thought, well, we'll have to go back the way we were. But of course, now we realize we can't really figure out where the handholds are because we can't see them. Because when you would kind of look over and we'd try to start to back down, realize you're just taking your foot and moving it around trying to find a purchase. And we thought, wow, this is not going to work. So then we sat down again. And we looked over, like, there's no way we're dropping down that way. Man, and it was, so we're stuck. Now, the thing that occurred to us was we didn't tell anybody where we were going. We didn't really tell them we were going. It was just like, we're going to go over and check this out over here. We ended up going way much further than anybody would have expected us to, and nobody knew what direction we really took off in. So we realized nobody's going to be looking for us. Nobody's going to be looking for us in that particular area. It's like, wow, we kind of like, that was boneheaded. So then it's that kind of moment of like just sitting there, kind of a little bit of panic that we're going to get in trouble because we're not getting out of here anytime soon. We're probably late getting back, and we've been gone for a few hours, and they're going to wonder where we're at. And man, this sucks. So we sat there for a while. It was an hour or so. We just sat there. We don't have anything except some water, and we'll realize, okay, and it's winter. It's probably January, February when we're up there. So we're kind of realizing this is just not a good place to be. There's nothing to make a fire, and I doubt if we had matches. This is my pre-smoking days. So we're probably pretty screwed. So as we were sitting there, I thought of an idea. Now, I had a flannel shirt on, long-sleeve flannel shirt, and I was wearing my pants, and I thought if I take my shirt, tie them to my pants, and I have a belt, and I tie the belt, that's going to get us probably 10, 15 feet. It's going to give us 10, 15 feet, more than 15 feet, to kind of someone to hang on to and lower someone down that dropped 30, 35 feet. So the brilliant idea was, okay, I'll take off my pants and my shirt. I'll tie them together, tie my belt to this. You can loop your hand in the belt and then hold on. And then because this boulder's here, I can brace against it and kind of slowly kind of let you down. So it's going to be scary, but you'll be able to get down, and then you'll be able to, if nothing else, maybe go get help. So that was the plan. It was not a great plan. He went over, he got down, and then he didn't want to let go. Because I thought at least I'd have my clothes, you know. But he wasn't going to let go, and what was happening was it was pulling me slowly over the boulder. Now you got to figure out, he probably weighed 100, 110 pounds. I probably weighed about 110, 115, 120 pounds. I was bigger than him, but not that much. And it's just the weight of that is pulling me slowly. And I'm realizing I'm not getting much of a purchase. And I'm trying to adjust and find some way to keep holding on, but it's slowly pulling me over. And I realize there's a point where I'm going to go head first over holding onto my pants. So I finally made the decision, told him, just brace yourself, get ready. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? And I let go of the pants because I was holding the end with the pants. I let go of that, and he dropped, and he stuck the landing, which is great. I looked down, he's stuck there. There's my pants, there's my shirt, there's my belt. And then I'm like, well, hey, dude, throw my stuff back up, because I could figure something out. I was like, if he's down there, and maybe if I take my belt or something, there's something I can do to kind of get at least, you know, but with the length of my arm and the belt, maybe I can get 10, 15, maybe I can get enough where I can drop down. He tries to throw everything up. One, he throws like a girl. He can't get it anywhere where I'm trying to lean over as far as I can to catch. Nothing. Gets my shirt hung up on the rock. I'm like, I still have a t-shirt on, by the way, but my flannel shirt is now hanging on this rock down below me, and I'm just like, this is screwed up. And he doesn't want to go back because he doesn't think he knows the way back, so he thinks he's lost. So again, it's sit there for a half hour or so and thinking about it, and then I finally decided, because there was no other option, was to kind of come over this and kind of grab onto the rocks and hope I could get enough purchase. And I kept looking at it, and I thought I can get myself, and if he's yelling down where my next handhold is, maybe I can work my way down far enough where I can drop down maybe 10, 15 feet, and he can make sure I don't go over the edge, and that's how we get out of here. So when you're young, if I would have been in my 20s, I probably wouldn't have even attempted that. But I was at that point where you're so young, you're so scared that you're going to get in so much trouble that you literally override any fear and you do something stupid. So I did it. I probably made it about 7 or 8 feet before everything just started falling apart. So what I did was, in my tidy whities, in my high tops and a t-shirt, just went banging down the side of this thing. There was just enough incline, I guess, and I caught a few things, and it was not good. It was not pretty. He ended up, basically, I knocked him down. The only thing that saved me from going over and falling down and rolling down even further was I ran into him, so it knocked him down. He fell down, but that stopped me enough where I could try to scramble and keep from going over the rest of the way. And I got there. So then I'm getting there. The worst injury I had a few bruises from it and stuff. I was very fortunate I didn't get hurt worse. I got a busted lip. I caught one of the rocks on the way down. I hit my face and I busted my lip good and I was bleeding. So I couldn't get my shirt no more. My shirt's hanging up there and I was just kind of looking at it, and we couldn't come up with a way to get my shirt back. So I figured I got to leave my shirt, and it was getting cooler out. And so I got my pants back on, got my shirt on. Figured clean up my face enough, kept asking him, how does it look? He had a little bit of a fat lip. He's like, oh, that's good. Okay, we got to hurry back. So we literally ran all the way back to camp. We got to camp. Everybody was pissed off. Of course, where have you guys been? What have you been doing? We were thinking about calling the county sheriff to come out and go looking for you guys. We didn't even know where you guys at, all this. So we got chewed out entirely. And I got the worst of it being older and being the one that instigated the whole situation. But on the way in, we made sure what the cover story was. We were just out. We weren't that far off, but we climbed up the spot. But we got turned around, and we ended up going the wrong way. And then when we finally realized we were the wrong way, we were way out of the way, so we had to take forever to come back, and we had to be real careful to get back. We weren't going to tell them any of this stupid stuff at all. That was the point. Nobody seemed to notice my lip. It was kind of like, oh, what happened to your lip? I don't know. I must have banged it on something. Who knows? So that was it. That was the story. Unfortunately, when something hilarious happens and you're young, he told somebody who told their dad, who told everybody, and then I was in big trouble of what happened. Of course, I was also the butt of many jokes because everybody wanted to know what was I thinking, stranding myself up on the rocks in my underwear. And I thought it was a good idea. I thought tying that stuff together was a brilliant idea. But they were pointing out it was cold out and stuff. You guys, what the hell were you guys thinking from the beginning to the end? And that was pretty much what happened. So I've learned since then, if you go in my pack, there's always at least 30, 40 feet of parachute cord, if nothing else. If we would have had something like that, it would have saved so many problems because you could have doubled it up. It would have given us something lengthwise. We had nothing like that. Like I said, I learned to be so much better prepared on just a little nothing hike after that time. Put something in your pocket, something somewhere. But yeah, I was totally just, and that was what I did so often in the mountains, is just wander off, start looking at something, go, that looks cool, keep going, which is how people get lost. I never seem to get lost really, but I always get myself in predicaments where I'd be like, well, where do I go now, man? What do I do now? And that was probably one of the worst ones. It was probably one of the most humiliating ones too, because everybody thought that was absolutely hilarious. So there you go. Way to start your new year. Nice funny story where I'm the butt of the joke. There are more like that because there are plenty of stupid things that happened to me in the mountains when I was very young, and maybe we'll share a few of those this year. I've generally tried to avoid them. I thought I would have told that story because it's interesting, but at the same time it brings into a couple different things. There was no doorway, so everybody thinks there was a doorway. We didn't check. It wasn't a doorway. And maybe if I ever bother to go up there, maybe there's some fragments or something of my shirt still on those rocks. It was one of those checkered like red flannels with black and like red and black. But yeah, maybe there's a fragment of my shirt still up there. Who knows? So there you go. Happy New Year. Like I said, kicking off the new year with a Coors Light. Hope everybody's new year turns out great. Hope you stick with us for another year, the 5th year of this. We will be starting to talk about the rendezvous and the date set for that, because the rendezvous dates are set for the 20th anniversary, and there'll be a bit of a build up for that. We're hoping to do a number of different things this year at the rendezvous, not just Saturday night guest speaker, but have a number of hikes and things set up, kind of going back to the old Don's early treks from that campsite. So we'll probably be replicating some of those things, not the long hike, but some of the shorter hikes and the things in the area, and find that kind of interesting to kind of 20 years, and that'll be about 90 years of the Dons since they've been out there. So about 90 years for the Dons, 20 years for the rendezvous, and doing some kind of cool special events. So that being said, again, check out our website, check out all the stuff in the channels. Hey, if I did tell this story, let me know. Maybe I couldn't find it, and if I did, maybe I remember the guy's name. It wasn't Jeff, it wasn't Tim. I don't know what it was. And I feel kind of bad, because usually anymore I remember the guys' names and I tell the stories. But anyways, there it is. There's the story. If he catches this, he'll definitely probably remember it. And there you go. So that's it. Have a happy new year. Until the next time, remember, I'm Wayne Tuttle. You're not. And this was Chasing Legends.